The highly requested and long awaited how I use cream makeup on my clients video is finally here. So I'm going to start off how I start off every single client with skin prep. And all I'm using is an exfoliating toner and an hydrating moisturizer for her skin type, which I will list all of the products down below. Then I'm going to go ahead and prep her eyes with a little bit of Gerard Cosmetics eyeshadow base. This is one of my favorites, and I like to apply it with my sponge because I get the most even application. Let that set for a little bit, and then I will apply some translucent setting powder all over her eyelid and her brow just to create a really nice base so that we can blend eyeshadows easily. I'm starting off with a super fluffy brush in her crease with a bronzer. This is going to create a nice base for the eyeshadow that we're going to put on top. And I know this brush looks really large, but it is amazing. Again, I will link these brushes down below. And then I'm going to take a little bit of a denser brush, and I'm going to use a couple of eyeshadows, starting off with a mid-tone brown, and we're going to use that as a crease shade, going back with the brush that we used before to blend. The key to blending is always going back to the step that you did before, so that you can go ahead and blend things out. Then I'm taking a little bit of a deeper brown with a smaller crease brush, and we're just going to apply that on the outer corner, again going with that fluffy brush to just blend everything together and make sure things mesh. Then taking an even smaller brush and a darker brown, and now we're going to focus this mostly on her outer corner. She did want something a little bit more dramatic, but still something that was going to be wearable because this was a birthday glam for her. But this is also how I will do something on a client who wants a little bit more drama. Then I'm going to take that same Gerard Cosmetics eyeshadow base, and I'm going to use that to carve out her crease. We're going to do a half cut crease, so I'm just going to do this on the inner part of her eye. And I'm going to use a flat concealer brush to apply it, and then my sponge to blend things out. Don't worry if we have any harsh lines on the outer corner. I'm just going to go back in with a brush that we used before after I apply my lid shade, which this is a liquid glitter eyeshadow. And then I'm going to go back in with that small brush to just blend the crease into the lid shade, so that way there's no harsh lines. Taking a little bit of illuminator and putting that on her inner corner just to make things pop. And then I'm going to use the NYX Epic Ink eyeliner. This is my favorite for clients because I can actually disinfect it with rubbing alcohol, and it also does a really great job at applying the eyeliner. And I don't apply it too neatly because I go on top of that with a black or a dark brown eyeshadow and an angled brush to go ahead and basically reinforce the liner. And we are kind of creating a smoky outer corner, so I'm going to go in with that dark brown and just blend that upwards towards the crease. And then I'm going to take a makeup wipe to clean off any excess. This is why I like to do eyeshadow first, and then I go in with our foundation later on. But before I do that, I'm going to do her brows. So I'm going to use an ash brown brow pencil from Billion Dollar Brows, and I'm just going to follow her natural shape. We're not going to do anything too crazy because she didn't want her eyebrows to be super bold. If she wanted a more dramatic look, I would have cut her eyebrows out first and then done the eyeshadow. But since she wanted something a little bit still on the natural side with the brows, we went ahead and did the brows after her eyes. And all I'm doing is filling in any sparse areas and using a very light hand to do so, and using the spoolie side to blend everything out. And I always disinfect the spoolie after I use this on my clients just to make sure that it is nice and sanitized. So we're just going to continue to do hair-like strokes. It usually does take me about 3 minutes to do the eyebrows because I am a little bit of a perfectionist with that. Then taking some setting powder just to clean up her brows a little bit. And now we're going to start with the star of the show, the cream makeup. So I'm starting off with the contour shade and the detail brush, and we're going to apply that contour on her cheekbones, her forehead, and on her jawline. And I'm going to hold the brush in a horizontal way to apply, and then vertically to blend. And to blend, I usually would do more of a stippling motion. Sometimes I will kind of swipe a little bit like on the nose or anywhere where I just want to wash a color. But when I want the contour to really stand out, I will always do a stippling motion. Then I'm taking a main highlight shade. So this is like a foundation shade, and we're only going to apply this in the areas where she needs coverage. So I'm going to put this on her jawline, around her cheeks where she has a little tiny bit of redness, and anywhere else that I just want to even out her skin tone. And this, if you see her neck, it is a similar color to what she has on her neck, and I'm just bringing that towards her face. And if you are wanting a custom color match or wanting me to help you color match one of your clients, you can go ahead and fill out my color match form that I have linked below. But then I'm going to go in with an even lighter highlight shade to go ahead and brighten underneath the eyes, brighten her nose, her forehead, and the center of her face. I like to keep the lightest colors in the center of the face and the darker colors around the jawline, and also just putting a little bit of that lighter color on underneath her contour to cut things out a little bit more. Then you can see here I am using that detail brush to go ahead and gently blend out the contour, but I mostly use a damp sponge. This one's from e.l.f. I like it because it's nice and dense and it doesn't pick up too much of the makeup, but this makes sure that we don't apply too much of the makeup. I think the biggest mistake people make with cream makeup is they use way too much and then it gets very, very greasy and just slips and slides all over the face. Then I'm going to take a powder puff from Beauty Blender and I'm going to take some loose translucent powder and I'm going to go ahead and use that to carve out her contour, but also to lightly set her whole entire face. This is so important if you're going to be using this makeup on clients. Set the face with a loose translucent powder. You could do a pressed powder, but I find that the loose powder works best because it's very finely milled, it won't be cakey, and it will last all day. Then I'm just going to go ahead and re-enhance her contour with this light bronzer shade, and I'm just going to go ahead and dust that on her neck too, just to blend everything together so that she doesn't look like a floating head. Then I'm going to start off with a little bit of cream blush on her cheeks as our base, but since we are doing a little bit more glam, I did go in later on with a powder, but right now I'm just making sure that that cream blush does blend in with the rest of her makeup. Right here I am going to take that powder blush to go ahead and just reinforce that, and it's going to make her blush really pop, and especially in pictures you'll be able to actually see it and it'll last all day. Then I'm taking a powder illuminator just to give her that beautiful glow, and then we're going to go ahead and finish off the eyes. So I take a little bit of bronzer underneath her eyes and to clean everything up and just re-brighten everything, and really my secret weapon are the Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics brightening powders. I absolutely love these so much. It just really adds a little bit of coverage and a little bit more contrast to give more of that glam look that the client is looking for. We decided to go with a little bit of a pop of color underneath her lash line, so I took the Juvia's Place eyeshadow, and then I'm just setting everything with my favorite setting spray, which I will have linked below, fanning her, and then I lost the clip where I did her lips, but before we did the lips, we're gonna do her lashes. So I'm just measuring out her lashes. I put on some mascara as I prep the lash with some glue, and then I'm gonna go ahead and apply her lashes. So like I said, I did lose the clip where I did her lips, but I will link down below the lip combo that I used on her, but that's the last step of the makeup after we do the lashes. So I usually do lashes second to last and lips at the very, very last part. And then if I need to add any color or any bronzer or anything, I will do so at this point, which you can see me doing here. And this is the finished look. You can see she absolutely loved it. She looked super glam for her birthday, still looked beautiful and glowy. It didn't feel cakey, it didn't feel heavy, and it just looked like her. Make sure that you check out everything down below listed in the details.